everybody? I'm Gerone Wright, and once again you're joining me on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel. Okay, I'm back to decode some more Renaissance artwork. This image here happens to be from the 13th century. And before I continue on, I would like to say that, I find it to be absolutely amazing that in this era of the 13th century, that such ancient knowledge was known, which references almost that of a genetic holy grail, relating to how mankind was created and mankind genetically came into existence. And not just that, the process is actually detailed in these artists' artwork of how, from a fathering process, a manipulation process, that from our ape and African ancestor, interminglings, genetic contaminations with the utilizations of animals such as goats, pigs, lions, horses, crocodiles, hippos, how these genetics were reintroduced back into the African continent and in our Asian world to cross-contaminate mankind's genes to create other resulting genetics, which calls for the likenesses of our Caucasian counterparts. And this, people, is what describes how we have a deviation of how mankind on each continent dramatically changed so much from the origins of their ape and African and Asian ancestors. Pretty much in a nutshell. I'm going to leave that there. Here I'm attacking this image because this is an ancient alien image where they actually have us all out in our heads in space with ancient alien UFOs and objects floating in space. And since most people are unaware of what these objects represent, they detail them as being ancient UFOs and people flying in from space and making these connections and interactions with us. A lot of these images, as you know, appear in the Renaissance era. Okay, and it's very sad because the misconception of what all of this means actually allows for the masses of our world and the people, which are already in the dark from the lies that's been told to us anyway, from the beginning of who you are genetically, that now you have others come along, if science and religion haven't brain screwed you enough, now you have theorists coming along having you believing that these objects are ancient UFOs and aliens and things. Well, not only am I going to take this image apart, but I'm telling you that each and every one of these images that have these celestial looking objects are circular objects up in the skies above these so-called divine individuals or ancient royalty. I can describe to you that all of this is referencing is how genetically there was a genetic change in mankind's being and who was contaminated and who benefited from it as a result. Here, this image, if you were to Google ancient UFOs, this image will come up on possibly the ancient aliens UFO site. But this is a French picture, okay, from the literature Livre Des Bomes, okay, by Jacques. Oh, I'm getting good. Legrand, and it's a book of French works from 1388. Oh, almost felt like I had some French DNA in me for a minute, the way those words came across my tongue. But people, I'm going to wake you up. Okay, I'm going to wake you up to what's going on here. And I like these discoveries of mine because what I describe to you, and I can put that right there in your face, is reality. Something that at a touch of your computer button's keypad, you can Google this image and verify. We don't need no science to verify this. We don't need no religious sects or leaders or cult-like groups to verify what's going on. Because what I'm showing you is that from a 1388 era, there are encryptions in the artwork which you can see and realize as them being there, and then my description of why they are there, and you can make your own decision as to the reality in what I'm stating. That's what I love about my discoveries, people, because they're right there in your face. It's like I done busted all of these people and they can't do anything about it but sit there and take it. That's it. All of these ancient alien UFO objects in our skies, these ancient artworks, I can do what I want to them as far as taking them apart, because the encryptions that are there and the actual and reality and the message that are being sent are all the same. It's telling you who you genetically are and who genetically contaminated the process of mankind's being and other genetics that are being created. So everything that I'm stating is factual. So this is the reason why I can take such artwork apart. So again, we have our ancient alien theorists that allow you to believe that this is a UFO. And I mean, you got some of the best minds on those shows too. I'm impressed with some of the minds that are on there. But they look into the skies and look into the divine sense and don't see what is before their eyes. So what is before their eyes? I call your attention to this guy first. He's handing over his family jewels to this royalty figure. It's my position that this is a representation of not him handing and paying taxes or of that sort, because that is a disillusion. What his reality is saying here is that he's handing over his family jewels, meaning his hand extended in this sense is representation of his penis and semen going in, meaning that the genetic identity of his people, of him, he's giving to her. This hand shown here, she's got her hand out in a trigger sense. And if you notice, you see a lot of guns, and I'm going to do a video file on this. If you notice that you see a lot of pointing in the ancient religion. I was taught that pointing was a bad thing when I was growing up, but they do a lot of it in ancient religion, pointing upwards, pointing everywhere. Her hand in that gun is showing you that she's shooting back out a genetic that is destroying this pauper-like person here. This pauper, you see this pauper here that has his hand out? Okay. That pauper-like character represents the ancient genetics of our mankind's being, which is closest to that of our ape and African ancestor, showing you that that genetic is being destroyed. That's what this message is symbolizing. Okay, but hold on, I didn't show you no proof yet. All I'm doing is just stating a scenario. Well, what is being represented here? Well, basically, people, all you have to do is go back here and, well, let's go to this guy here first. He's genetically bridged over, okay, with what? A cow, a bull-like creature that's right here encrypted in his hair, showing you that he's carrying his semen is contaminated, been cross-referenced with that of a bull creature. Let me show you here. There's the mouth, there's the left nostril, there's the right nostril, there's the bridge of the nose area, and then there's the eye, and then there's the horn light coming across the brow of this guy. You see the face there? Telling you that he's carrying the blood and the semen of that bull in his body in a cross-contamination process. He sacrificed himself genetically with this creature. Now he's handing over the family jewels, of course, to her to further the process. Let's go back to that again, people, because this is a 1388 painting that this stuff should not be in. There is a bull cow-like creature encrypted in this guy's headwear, which symbolizes the semen and the blood of that creature cross-contaminated with this man's being. The sacrifice, he sacrificed himself genetically with this creature. Now, with the broken down genes of this cauldron-like chemistry in his body, he's now given his semen to her to further the breakdown of that process. Now, who's involved with this? What's going on? Well, hold on. Before I go there, go up over top of her crown. Over top of her pointed hat here. So these broken down bloods and semens now out of her blood and out of her semen is coming a new chemistry of genetics, which are shown in a reptilian sense. What are we talking about here, people? Go up there over top of her crown. Here. Look at the faces. Let me get this situated instead of trying to hold that up. Can you see the face there, people? Hold on. You see this, people? They're multi-dimensional faces of these genetics which were created. So out of her body, out of her blood, and out of her semen, her genes, these creations were created. There's the chin, there's the mouth, there's the nose, there's the wrinkle above the mouth, there's the right eye, there's the bridge of the nose. You see this, people? Here? Morphine images of each other. Now that's just one face of several from the genes which were created. This is what is being described. So, who's involved in all of this? Well, I told you that ancient-rooted royalty and ancient-rooted religion are at the center of all of these cross-referencings. So, but they wouldn't show you the kings and queens there, just like they wouldn't describe this person as being black and Asian, being closer to his black and Asian ancestor. They show him as being a pauper, because that describes, this is an ancient encryption style of Renaissance artists. The pauper represents our ancient rooted genetics, which are closer to that of our ape, Asian, and African ancestors. These people consider themselves to be genetically superior than us. So this is what the artwork is actually stating. Well, if that's not, well, people, if you can't buy into it, then why am I making heads and tails of this picture? So I'm alleging that ancient rooted royalty is involved in this. So where would they be at in here? Why are they not shown then, Jerome? Well, of course they are there. You just don't see them until I show them to you. When you Google this image, if you look back here, encrypted in the landscape, you will see the head of a king right there. This is the king. Let me bring that in a little closer. You see the king head there? There's the king's chin, the king's mouth, the king's nose, the king's eye, and the king's crown. And a friend corrected me. Not long and behold. Okay, but lo and behold, thanks to KD, there's the queen and her crown right there. Her chin, her mouth, her nose, her eye, and her queen's crown. The king and the queen. These people, and there they go there in a close-up, looking more like demonic figures than that of which I described. Because you have to look at it in the resolution. In the closer resolution, it becomes distorted. But if you look closely, people, you'll start seeing chins and mouths and nose of genes that are described. The message is in the landscape, just as I showed you up here. showing you a breakdown of genetics and the extraction of genes, which calls for the genetic contamination, the bridging over of our ape, African, and Asian ancestors, and the destruction of their genes in the wake of these cauldron-like chemistries, which created new genes. See this? Almost look like Cleopatra, but this is the, yeah, it almost look like Cleopatra, don't it? Look at that. Look at that. Eye socket, crown. This creates the hair, the chin, there's the mouth. Look at that. And there's the king. Eye, crown here. Look at this, people. Amazing. Look at this. Now, what makes this more compelling? Where's my marker at? There you go. People, let me put this bigger for you. Oh, it will come out backwards, damn it. It's going to come out backwards. But anyway, I don't know why this is actually doing this, because my other computer actually comes on straight. 1388. I wonder what happens if I write that backwards. Let me see something. If I can. No, I can't do it. Oh, yes, I did do it. Wow. Cool. I had to write that backwards in order to get that. That's amazing. All right. People, in 1388, that century, this information was known. People, you should be awful angry about this. Why? It's because a lot of what's going on with mankind today genetically has always been known. Cancer, AIDS, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what's going on in your head, what should be in your head. Everything physically, mentally, and spiritually about you is known, was always known. Artists enjoyed having this knowledge and playing it back to you. My name is Gerone Wright, and look at that beautiful queen there wearing her crown in the landscape with this, and they want you to believe that this is a UFO. Well, we can cross that out now, can't we? Thanks to Gerone Wright. Because while you're looking to the skies for the delusion of what they want you to believe, reality is right here, ground level in the landscape, and showing you what is going on. So when you take the sperm of this cow creature and the blood and seeing people sacrificing themselves genetically with these creatures, intermingling their blood with these beings, and then taking same genes and handing them over in the sense of family jewels, his balls, his semen, to her to further the process, things start to make sense of the cyclination process of genetics, which I'm describing, which calls for royalty and ancient rooted religion, i.e. ancient Roman, the Vatican, and all that, to create genes which are brand new and causing for destruction of the old. Reading into and knowing this knowledge will tell you when old genes are going to be dying, become extinct, and where new creations are going. It's my position that every 400 plus years, there's an intermingling. And these artworks such as this commemorate such times. Every ancient alien picture that depicts a flying UFO over top or overhead, I can dismantle the image in this way because I instinctively know what they are. Thanks to my paranormal experience and my encounter, reality is with me, not just in our world, but beyond our world. What happened here in our world previously, before there was even our kind, through my paranormal experience and encounter, I can experience it. I can envision it. Everything that was in the past is envisioned through me. Everything that is current is envisioned through me. Everything that is going to be future is envisioned through me. I can read through space. I can read through our world. I can see things in thin air. I can see through multi-dimensional envelopes of windows that existence is passed in and out of. My name is Gerone Wright, and you're joining me once again on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel.